Why can't you do this right? Why didn't you do this? Why do you always or never do this? Criticism in relationships occur when we focus on our partner's flaws and pass judgment. This is expressed through disapproving, critiquing, correcting, blaming, nitpicking, or fixing. Constant criticism is not constructive, encouraging, or inspiring. In fact, it is one of the major killers of a relationship. Hello, my name is Dr. Nicole Lunan, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MoodMe, a new app that allows you to share over 400 and plus moods, emotions, and desires with your lover, thus making communication simple, fun, and super easy. So today we're going to be talking about criticism, and we're going to be talking about how you can turn your criticism or your critical remarks into an effective concern or an effective complaint. So let's jump right in. So first, let's go over some examples of what criticism looks like in relationships. Kayla and Chris are running late to a dinner party. Why can't you ever be on time? Kayla questioned Chris. I'm so tired of always being late to everything. Why didn't you get ready when I asked you to? Chris stayed silent as he drove the car. No, don't take that road, take this road, it's faster, Kayla said, pointing out the road she wanted Chris to take. You must not mind being rude to everyone, Chris, because that's how it comes off when you're always late. Yikes. So maybe you can start to tweeze out what some of the criticism was in that last example. Okay, let's look at another example about how criticism can play out in a relationship. This food is the absolute worst for you. You're always eating complete junk and then complaining about how you feel afterward, Rob said to his girlfriend, Julie. Why didn't you grab an apple instead of the potato chips? Julie shrugged as she ate her potato chips. Her nonchalance only aggravated Rob more. You're the one who asked me to help you be healthy, and how can I help you when you never get off that couch and you're always eating like crap? Oh, goodness. So the knives are out, and those words were pretty cutting. You know what's interesting is when you get a bird's eye view of situations like that, you really think, like, that's terrible. How could anybody ever talk to their partner that way? And yet when we are aggravated and, stressed out and frustrated because there's been lack of change, a lot of us revert to criticizing instead of effectively communicating a concern or a complaint. Now let's look at some common one-liner criticisms that couples often tell each other. You never ask me about my day anymore. It's obvious you don't care. You never initiate sex anymore. We're headed to a sexless marriage. You're so selfish. It always has to be about you. No, don't do it like that. Why would you do it that way? This is the better way. Why do you have to show those pics on Instagram? You're just so hungry for attention. Ha, that's a joke. You're not making near enough money to support a family. All you do is work. You never spend time with me anymore. All you want to do is party and act like you're single. You're just not meant to be in a real relationship. Have you said any of these statements, and did it help your relationship improve when you said it, or did it help you focus on the problem? Did it add any benefit to the relationship at all? No, not at all. If anything, it just brought you 10 steps back, and more than likely, your partner decided to ignore you even further or attack you back. These are all examples of being critical towards your partner. Are you able to find any repeating patterns over the examples we went through? In each statement or question, one person is attacking or blaming the other person, thus making them the sole contributor to the issue. It's your fault. Why do we do this to people we deeply love and care so much about? Well, it's the people closest to us that can hurt us the most, and we often resort to criticism as a form of self-protection. It's much easier to attack our partner by telling them that they're the issue rather than dropping into vulnerability and saying, my needs aren't being met. Can you help me? Also, if you grew up with hypercritical parents who were doing their best to raise us, but didn't have the tools to offer advice and complaints in a way that didn't personally attack your character, then you most likely picked up the pattern as a child. And if you were overly criticized or nitpicked as a child, you most likely are sensitive to it as an adult and have built defense mechanisms to stop perceived negative judgments from getting close to your sense of self. Or maybe you take it very personally and are highly triggered by them, and they send you into a downward spiral. Negative judgments we receive as adults can automatically remind us of the inadequacies we so keenly felt when we were criticized as a child. This is why it causes so much emotional distress for some to be criticized. Criticism from the ones we trust and love have the ability to drop us back into helpless child mode and make it feel like we're not enough no matter how hard we try. We can't escape not being or feeling enough, whether it was to our parents when we were children or to our partners now as adults. Our critical sides come out in heated moments of frustration, anger, and can often be a stress response, therefore making it a challenging habit to break. However, after you discover the harm that it causes your partner, this may be the motivation you need to reconsider. Criticism beats your partner's self-esteem and self-worth down. The critical words cut deep and they're not easily forgotten nor forgiven. It's like if you took an arbitrary bat and you used your partner's self-esteem as a piñata. Except for there's no candy surprise in the middle, it's just more pain. Criticism can make your partner question their value as a person. It can shake their confidence to the core and eventually make them feel like they can't do anything right. Being critical to your partner will erode trust. They will at some point begin to fight back against the negative words and image that you portray them as and build a wall for protection and distance. Frequent criticism feels like betrayal because it violates the belief that your partner is safe in the relationship. It belittles your partner while making you seem superior, which causes a power imbalance in the relationship. And lastly, it's not effective in getting your partner to change. It's quite the opposite. Either they're going to hide what they're doing or throw their guard up because criticism triggers defensiveness, and nobody is open to listening when they feel like they're getting heavily attacked. Lastly, if you frequently lash out and criticize your partner often, no matter what they do for the way that they dress, their sex drive, their job, their family, their friends, or any aspect of their personality that you don't like, and you do it a lot, that's a sign of emotional abuse. Criticizing is an interesting habit to catch because it may not appear to be a problem with anyone else but your partner. The closer we are to a person, the more we see their flaws, their weaknesses, especially when you live with your partner, you spend majority of your free time with your partner. Over time, we get annoyed, our patience wears thin, and our self-restraint weakens. We pick up on things our partners do because we are consistently there, watching, observing, benefiting, or being inconvenienced by them. For example, your tipsy and gregarious friend is super fun to be around when you're out, but you see the worried look in his partner's eyes and you hear her asking him, "Can you please not get too drunk this time?" She's mainly the one who's inconvenienced and feels responsible to take care of him when you get to go home. Therefore, you don't feel the need to criticize, even though you've noticed some off-putting behavior. You can just let go and let God. With friends and acquaintances and colleagues and others, we can usually keep our negative reactions and criticisms in check. We don't see them every day. We can take a break until our irritations wear off. So where did you go wrong? Where did criticism creep into your relationship, and why has your relationship suddenly become a war zone, a battlefield of who is the most right or who is the most to blame? We love our partners, so what clicks inside of us to start verbally attacking them? Unfortunately, our brains are wired with a negative bias, meaning that out of all the things that are going right in the relationship, we put more weight on things that are going badly. Think about the news. They don't talk about all the pleasant things that are going on in the world. They focus on the bad stuff because they know how addicting it is to the human mind. When there's no problem as humans, we have a knack of creating one or narrowing in on the imperfections rather than scoping out and seeing our partner as a whole person. The brain is wired first for war rather than love. Its primary function is to ensure as individuals and as a species, and it is very, very good at this. We can change this in a relationship by choosing to create new neural pathways, by laying aside our ego and choosing love instead of war in the relationship. After all, underneath criticism is real vulnerability, a softer underbelly, a scared child wishing to have their needs fulfilled, but without a peaceful technique on how to do it. For a long time, I struggled with this concept of criticism because I didn't understand how I could even voice a concern without being critical. So then I wouldn't voice any concerns, but then the energy has to go somewhere, and it would come off as being passive aggressive. So my point here is that there's no way around learning how to voice a concern or a complaint in a manner that allows you to own your feelings and speak about what needs aren't being met. This is something we all have to learn in order to have a healthy relationship because our partners aren't going to be perfect all the time, and neither are we. So remember, complaining or voicing a concern is totally okay in a relationship when done correctly. And that is very different than criticizing. So how do we voice a concern or a complaint? Well, number one, express how you feel. Begin with I feel. I feel angry. I feel upset. I feel hurt. Stay away from you statements. Stay away from generalizing by using always or never. And stay away from starting a sentence with you don't. Begin with I. Own your emotions first. I feel like this. Number two, be specific about the situation that you're complaining about. Be specific about the situation and the behavior that has caused you to feel discomfort or whatever you're feeling. And number three, create a positive action step. Tell your partner how this need can be resolved. Leave it on a positive note. Let's go through some examples of criticisms versus complaints. Remember, criticism is about placing judgment and shame on the other person. You're picking at their character and not the real issue. So, example number one, criticism. All you do is sit on your phone and scroll. This can be reframed into a complaint. I feel disconnected from you when you're on your phone. I need us to make time for each other. So we break it down into I feel an emotion. I feel disconnected from you when you're on your phone. You're talking about a specific situation and you're leaving it with a positive action step. I need us to make time for each other. Example number two, criticism. You never pay attention to me anymore. Let's turn that into a complaint or a concern. I feel ignored when I come home and you're focused on video games. I would like to schedule some one-on-one dates together. So I feel the emotion. Be specific. When I come home, you're focused on video games, and a positive action step. I would like to schedule some one-on-one dates with each other. One of the biggest problems with criticizing is it leaves no solution for your partner to get better. It just puts them down and belittles them without a positive action step forwards. So with complaining or creating a concern, you're listing your emotion, you're being specific about the situation that's bothering you, and you're leaving it on a positive note, on a positive action step that your partner could take to help solve this issue or meet your needs. Example number three, criticism. You're a workaholic. You stop caring about the relationship. Now let's reframe that into a complaint or a concern. I feel unloved when I have to be alone so much when you work late at night. I would like to create intentional time to connect with each other again. Okay, so you're focused on I, which is good. I feel this emotion, unloved, when I have to be alone at night. So she's talking about a very specific situation, and she leaves it on a positive note. I would like to create intentional time to connect with each other again. Example number four, criticism. The world revolves around you. You always have to win every argument. All right, so let's reframe that into a complaint or a concern. I feel upset when you interrupt me during arguments. Can you give me space to express myself and actively listen? So I feel the emotion, upset, and then specific, when you interrupt me during arguments. Can you give me space to express myself and actively listen? Leaving it on a positive action step. Criticism. It's always about what you want to do. Let's reframe that into a complaint. I feel voiceless when you don't ask for my opinion. I need to have a voice in this partnership. So I feel an emotion, which is voiceless, very specific, when you don't ask my opinion, and then leave it on a desire or need. I need to have a voice in this partnership. All right, let's go over one more example. Criticism. You never help me with anything. Notice this isn't specific at all, and it doesn't point towards an actual coaching step on what you would need help with. So let's reframe this into a complaint or a concern. I'm overwhelmed taking care of the children. I need your help putting them to sleep. So you're stating how you're feeling. I'm overwhelmed in a very specific situation, taking care of the children, and then leaving it on a positive action step. I need your help putting them to sleep. Couples who are satisfied with their relationships don't lack things to complain about. They just discovered how to complain without criticizing or putting their partner down, and keeping the issues that they have with each other in perspective and offering solutions to the issue at hand. Remember, it's easy to criticize. It's much more thoughtful and challenging to tell your partner how you're feeling and what you desire from them. Remember, your criticism is a wish disguised. It's a negative expression of a real need. What if you took responsibility for what you actually desire in the relationship? What if you own the wish and you commit to articulating it as a positive hope or need? Focus on what you want from your partner instead of what you don't want. Instead of saying, I don't or you don't, say, I wish or I want. As they say, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. All right, so if you watched till the end of this video, then you are really committed to learning how to communicate better. And I really want you to try out Mood Me. Mood Me is made to make communication so much easier. It literally gets to the point. It's, I am feeling this specific way. You have 400 moods and feelings to choose from. And then you can say what you desire. So it just cuts straight to the point about how you're feeling and what you actually desire from your partner. And it can be used all the time, daily. In my experience, it cuts fights in half. It gets straight to the point about how we can fulfill this need and how to take positive action steps forward. I definitely recommend that if you're struggling with learning how to communicate or you want to stop criticizing your partner, that you try this app with your partner. Download Mood Me. All right, so that wraps up our lesson on how to stop criticizing your partner, because criticism is killing your relationship. How did you feel about the video? Let me know, let us know in the comment section below, and see you later, Moodlings.